Hello, everybody. This is Purge, bringing you guys a first-person replay commentary. Going to be talking about Chaos Knight today. Let's hop over to the Dotabuff page. Full disclosure, sponsored by Dotabuff. Decline. Okay, let's hop on over there. That's weird. Okay, let's talk about Chaos Knight. Chaos Knight is not the most popular hero. He's pretty much been out of the meta for a godly amount of time. Like, actually, for like the full extent of the pro scene, the only times that he has played in the past was basically with IO, because IO works very well with Chaos Knight, because the way skill works, Reality Rift, you pull somebody back to you and you appear in front of them. And before, what would happen is IO would tether Chaos Knight would use Reality Rift, and when he'd do that, it would instantly stun somebody, because back then tether would stun instead of slow. So you could basically instantly stun with Reality Rift, and IO would increase your attack speed, and then you would stun them afterwards with Chaos Bolt. It was really strong, but that doesn't work anymore, since tether only slows. So since then, we haven't really seen Chaos Knight much. He's been poked a little bit in the pro scene just because he does have some value, and he's been buffed enough times to be in a semi-decent place. But let's talk about his good things and his bad things. He's got a reliable stun. Well, it's not super reliable. It stuns between 1 second and 4 seconds. It starts at between 1 and 2, and it on average will go in the middle point. So that means at level 1 you have a 1.5 second stun that does a lot of damage. It does like 125 damage or something level 1. So very, very good level 1 stun. It doesn't always stun at perfect intervals. It doesn't stun either 1 second or 2 seconds. It stuns somewhere RNG in the middle. If you have high stun duration, you will have low damage. As you level the skill up, it doesn't get that much better, but it gains 0.5 seconds of stun duration on average per level, and it also gains 25 damage, which is not much. So you're getting some stun duration, and you're getting some damage as you level it up. Pretty poor scaling ability, but considering you can stun up to 4 seconds and it's a 10-second cooldown, it's a pretty good ability in a lot of cases. Like I said, Reality Rift, you pull somebody towards you, and it lowers their armor by up to -7 for 8 seconds, and it has a 6-second cooldown late in the game. They recently reduced the cast point because it was a little bit too long, but very inexpensive spell, 50 mana. This one is 140. Your passive has been changed semi-recently. It still does a critical strike chance, and it's a very low chance, by the way. It's 12%, but it gives you bonus damage, and it gives you lifesteal on that hit of 75%. So that means when you do get lucky and get a crit, it gives you bonus damage and it heals you. The lifesteal percentage is huge. It's 75%. So if you get a crit and deal 200 damage, you're healing yourself for 150. It's a lot of heal, but you have to deal high damage to get the good lifesteal in the first place, and the critical chance is so low that it's not going to happen very often. The critical chance is every 8.3 attacks. So it takes a lot of attacks to guarantee that you get hits in. The way your ultimate works is you basically phase out, kind of like Mirror Image on Naga Siren, kind of like Manta style, and you get extra amounts of illusions every hero. Now, it's a little bit RNG. There's a 50% chance to get an extra Phantasm, so that means you're guaranteed 1, 2, and 3 Phantasms, depending on what level your ulti is, but you can get up to 4 or up to 2 right when you use it. So it's a bit RNG, but the cool thing about these Phantasms is that they, unlike most illusions, these ones actually do 100% of your base damage. Most illusions don't do that. Most do like 33% as Manta for melees. Manta on range is 28%. Mirror Image illusions, usually, I think, do like 30% or something. Conjure Image on Terrorblades do different numbers. Everything's different, but the important thing to realize is that you do 100% Phantasm damage compared to your hero. So if you don't know what that means the damage that goes to illusions are your strength, your base stats, and that's it. If you get a Divine Rapier, for example, that's plus damage. That doesn't increase your illusion damage. But if you get an Ogre Club that gives you 10 strength, because Chaos Knight's a strength hero, that means 10 strength makes your hero do 10 more damage. And if I make illusions, my Chaos Knight will also do 10 more damage from the illusions. So that's how it works. They take 260% damage compared to your hero, so they can be cleared fairly easily by AoE damage. And that's about it. Lasts for 42 seconds. Cooldown's really high at 130, and the mana cost kind of gets extreme as you get later in the game. So that's your basic skills. Talking about the talent tree here really quick. You've got 15 attack speed or 8 int at 10. Very often people grab 8 int because the hero has some mana needs, especially when you're casting like Phantasm and Chaos Bolt all the time. So that's not too surprising, but 15 attack speed's pretty good because that'll apply to you and your illusions that you summon with Phantasm. So it's pretty useful. Both are, I'll grab them at different rates. Usually I grab intelligence, but sometimes attack speed. Just depends if I have big mana needs. At level 15, you either go 10 strength or 20 movement speed. 20 movement speed will help you move around faster. 10 strength obviously is great. 10 damage 200 HP, a little bit of HP regen, has a slightly higher win rate. Level 21 is pretty obvious. It's plus 12 to all stats and 120 GPM. One of the reasons this talent is here, in my opinion, is because Chaos Knight actually doesn't farm very well late game because you don't really buy items that help you farm faster. But you don't really want to get GPM at level 20 anyways, because level 20 is so late in the game that usually it's not going to pay off in time. So I don't know if I've ever grabbed this. Maybe if I was playing a support Chaos Knight, which you probably shouldn't. 12 to all stats is just too good, to be honest. It gives you agility, which makes your illusions have more armor and attack faster. It gives you strength, which we just talked about gives damage. And it gives you int, which means casting more spells. Like this 12 to all stats is really, really good. And that's why the win rate on this is much higher. You lower your win rate a lot going to GPM. 25, apparently cooldown reduction has a higher advantage, 20% here, and Reality Rift's Pierce's spell immune, which should be used to use your second skill against heroes that use BKB, because if they use BKB, it's kind of hard to get all of your illusions to surround. I forgot to mention that when you use Reality Rift and you have illusions nearby, your illusions will also jump with you. So if you're not disabled, you can kind of continue jumping from hero to hero to hero and killing them very rapidly, because it lowers their armor, and then your illusions also have a chance to crit. So that's kind of how the hero works. You basically want to build a lot of strength items, and that's about it. Maybe some attack speed. So power tread's extremely common. You need to tread switch to make sure that you get more out of your mana. Armlet is the absolutely core in this hero because it gives you, when you turn it on, it gives you plus 25 strength, and this item only costs 2370. So that means if I buy a Reaver, the item that goes into Heart, it's 25 strength, it costs me 3,000 gold. But if you buy Armlet, which is 2370, then I can turn this on and it gives myself 25 strength. Not to mention it gives you plus 31 damage when you activate it, and plus 4 armor, and it also does drain your health. But the important thing is that you're basically paying 2,400 gold for a 60 damage item of that 25 is strength, and it gives you 9 armor, and it gives you 25 attack speed, and it gives you HP regeneration. And the really abusable thing about Armlet is you can turn it on, then use your illusions, and then you can turn it off afterwards. So if you just want to make your illusions stronger, turn on Armlet, make the illusions with Phantasm, and then you have these really strong illusions that have an extra 25 damage. Not to mention they get the attack speed from Armlet, which is all pretty good. Echo Saber is sometimes built as well because it gives you a slow, it gives you a little bit of mana regen. It's kind of a lot of things that Chaos Knight needs. I'm not the biggest fan of the item though, because I don't think it really does. It kind of does similar things as what Armlet does, but Armlet is just way better because it gives you 25 strength and 60 damage and all that stuff. Echo Saber gives you 2 hits, which is kind of cool, but I'm just not quite sold on building both. I think it's kind of overkill, and it only gives you 10 strength. I'd rather it was like more heavy onto that. Mantis style is actually really good on Chaos Knight now. It used to suck because your illusions just really didn't do enough damage, but now attack speed items actually make your illusions attack faster. So that means that your illusions, even if you buy a Manta style, are still you're not really losing anything anymore. In the past, if you look at Manta style, it gives 15 attack speed. That didn't apply to the Manta style illusions. Now it does. Tread's attack speed now applies to illusions attack speed. If you get armor attack speed, that all applies as well. So basically, having a Manta style is a lot better on the hero. Not to mention that with talents introduced, you can get things like 8 intelligence, 12 to all stats. So like in a mid or late game, Manta style is actually pretty reasonable because you should have more mana pool to activate or to manage it. And the mana cost for the active is a little bit lower. So Manta style is actually pretty good on CK right now. I'd recommend getting it in some games. Heart of Trask is by far the best item that you want to build for though, just because it massively increases the HP of your hero, and it gives you 40 strength. So if you buy Heart of Trask, that's 40 damage to your illusions. Not to mention that it gives you a lot of HP regen passively, and when you're out of combat, you'll heal back up. And the reason that Heart is so important on Chaos Knight is because the only way to kill the illusions basically is to do AoE damage. Now keep in mind that they take bonus damage from nukes. They take 260% of whatever you take. So if I take a 100 damage nuke, but my Phantasm also hits it, it takes 260. So that means your Phantasm illusions will die really, really fast to AoE. And that's why when you're playing illusion heroes, it's pretty important that you get high in HP. That way, AoE nukes won't necessarily be able to kill you. In a lot of cases, AoE damage doesn't scale as well in the late game, so if you just keep increasing your HP, your opponents won't necessarily be able to just easily continue killing your illusions. So that's why Heart has such a big win rate. Black King Bar is very often worth purchasing because you need to ensure that your hero doesn't get disabled. The downside is it doesn't protect your illusions, so it's kind of just lets your hero to do stuff, not necessarily let your illusions do things. Magic Wand is pretty required in a lot of situations just to get some burst heal or get more mana to use Chaos Bolt, for example. Assault Curse is a great late game item because it gives your illusions a ton of attack speed and some minus armor, which is pretty cool. Boots of Travel can work late game as well to move around the map, stuff like that. So heroes you're good against. Basically, heroes that don't have AoE. Huskar has no AoE, so if you surround him with a bunch of illusions with minus armor, he is going to die, and he can't necessarily easily figure out which one of you is the real one. So that's pretty straightforward. Viper has no AoE, is also weak to high amounts of single target physical damage and minus armor, so you're perfect in that situation. Bane doesn't have AoE, Chen doesn't have AoE, and he very easily can get picked out of a fight and killed rapidly. Chen also kind of pressures well against heroes that don't get strong early, and Chaos Knight is actually a very strong early game carry. Pudge, kind of same thing, doesn't have good AoE, is going to get overwhelmed really easy by minus armor. Skywrath Mage, same thing, no AoE, no AoE. Little AoE. Ursa kind of works. This isn't terrible, but once I use Phantasm, and if I stun him outside of his ultimate, he's going to die almost every time. Basically, same thing all the way down. Bad AoEs across the board. So here's are really bad against. Bad against Medusa. That's because when she uses her ultimate, if the ultimate sets in and somebody becomes stone form, illusions are instantly killed from that. So Medusa can easily kill you, and if she buys an Ags, every time she throws a snake, it will kill your illusions. So she basically just hard counters Chaos Knight, because pretty much anything she does is going to end up dealing with him. Sven is extremely good as well because he has cleave. He can very easily kill all your illusions, and unlike magic nukes, he can scale endlessly into the game with items because he can buy like a Daedalus and just one-shot your illusions probably. Sand King AoE, Timbersaw AoE, plus he's good against strength heroes. Underlord reduces the damage that you deal from your primary attribute. So that means if I buy strength items, Underlord reduces that with his aura. And he also has tons of AoE that does more damage based on how much HP you have. So Underlords are really good against Chaos Knight as well. Very strong hero. Tidehunter AoE that reduces damage based on your primary attribute with Anchor Smash. All good against Chaos Knight. Elder Titan reduces your base passives, does good damage. His ultimate does damage based on how much HP you have, so he just scales decently well against Chaos Knight. Can very easily disable all the illusions. Phoenix, tons of AoE. Enigma's Midnight Pulse does a percentage of pure damage based on your HP. It can kill your illusions within like 4 seconds. Just all of them die. And acts pure damage, AoE, can increase his armor. He can initiate on you pretty easily. So these all kind of make sense. But I think the important thing to notice is that these percentages are really high. On most of the heroes we look at, they don't get this huge, basically. I don't know why they look different all of a sudden. Okay, this month. I see this. So the other numbers must be from all time, which is kind of interesting because, or at least a larger data set. Oh, this is this week actually. Okay. So let's go back in here and let's look at it this week. I don't know if he got any buffs or nerfs, but I mean, these numbers are pretty huge. I think the last one I did, what was the last replay commentary I did? Oh, the Queen of Pain, was it? The Roaming Queen of Pain? Yeah. The advantage percentages weren't so huge, but like some of these are pretty severe, I must say. Maybe that last page hasn't updated in a while. Oh, I'm sorry. I was looking at the top, the heroes I'm good against. But there's a lot of heroes that are above 2% win-loss ratio that are here. And the ones right at the bottom, there's a lot of heroes above 3. Whereas there's a lot of other heroes that only have like 2%. So there's basically a couple of heroes that really crap on Chaos Knight. And there's not a lot of heroes that you do really well against. It's like 4. So only 4 heroes here that are above 3%. And there's like 10 heroes that are 3% or above against you. So Chaos Knight has kind of a tough time, but I think his hero design is kind of cool. He maybe still needs a little bit more adjustment in some ways, but it's kind of cool. Strength gain is really good, agility gain is okay, and his int gain is atrocious. It's really bad. Huge movement speed, very high base damage, but look how big the range is. It's a 30-point swing of damage, so it's pretty hard sometimes to last hit, and your attack point's pretty late, but other than that, pretty normal. And then we can look at the other stuff here, meta statistics. He has a decent win rate, 52.71 at 5k or above, probably because he's picked in the right moments. You should never pick Chaos Knight early because people will counterpick you. I have played 36 games. I have a 52.78% win rate, but that's overall of Dota 2, of course. And this is nothing that we wanted to bother looking at. Okay, so that is it. We can finally jump into the game. Yes, I would like to close all tabs. No, I'd like to sit. All right, honestly. Microsoft Edge. I'm trying to like you, but it's getting difficult. It works nice for that because I can draw on the web pages. That's pretty cool. So I played this game with Moonhead Chachi, Wolfman, and Jerry the other day. Ryojin. Anyways, I played this game on stream. This was on the Vote on Heroes Day. That is a stream that I'm going to do once a week where I play with, or I play pubs like regular, except I play characters that you guys vote on. And if you want to be eligible for that, you have to be either a $10 level Patreon or Twitch sub. I hate calling it by the dollar value, but that's the easiest way to talk about it. So somebody requested Chaos Knight. I've always been a little bit interested in Chaos Knight, so I played a game. and this is how it went. Unfortunately, when I played the game, I was quite frustrated. So I thought I'd make a replay commentary instead. I thought it'd be a better way to talk about how the hero works and things like that. So you can definitely invade and fight early on Chaos Knight if you want to. Unfortunately, I got here a little bit late, so this wasn't really possible.
The battle begins.
So I'm hitting the Tinker. My HP is getting very low. I use a salve here. We end up getting first blood. And because my hero's fast, I'm going to be able to get out of here. I did end up using the Courier to walk me out of salve, since I used it to try to stay alive, because I didn't want to die. But ultimately, this is really worth it for us. Just going to keep an eye on last hits. So if I'm against a Batrider, usually what you want to do is get a very fast magic stick, because when you get a magic stick, I am watching it 1.5 times, but I think this is probably fine. When you're against a Batrider, you want to get a magic stick because it ensures that if he casts too much sticky napalm on you, that you're always going to have more mana. Was able to get the kill, just need to stop staying in the fire here. So if he casts too many spells, then I know that, oh, this is really unfortunate. He was able to interrupt my my Clarity Potion, which would have refilled my mana fully, but I didn't see the Night Stalker coming. I should have seen him coming. I didn't even see him coming this time, and I knew he was coming. But brought my salve in, used my salve, now I'm full HP, now things are a little bit better. So if they cast too many spells, I get magic stick charges, and for a hero that has mana problems, this is actually really good. Because now I know that if Batrider just casts Sticky Napalm too much, that he's going to be giving me free Chaos Bolts. And it only takes him about a little bit more than 9 Sticky Napalm charges for me to have another Chaos Bolt. Skill build wise, the pretty common consensus among players from what I looked at guides-wise is you get at least 1 point of Chaos Strike before you're level 4, and then you max out Reality Rift instantly, which is kind of the same build that I've been advocating for a long time, and then afterwards you'll max Chaos Bolt. Now, one of the problems with Chaos Strike right now is that the damage it does is really shit. It's really bad. The first point of Chaos Strike, on average, increases your damage by 3%. It's almost nothing. So it gives you virtually no damage. But if you get, every additional point after that is about 6% increase. So between the 3 levels, that's, what, 18 plus 3? It's about 21% damage increase, which is not bad. But there's a lot of other crits that are better damage-wise. So the reason I think that people get at least 1 point early, and almost everybody did, anybody high MMR did, is because if you get a crit, you're going to be life-stealing for a lot. Like I said, it's 75% in the Dotabuff section. So that means if I get a crit, and I'm dealing 72 damage, we'll say that's going to deal like 90 after it gets increased, and of that I get 75%. So if I get a crit on a creep, I'm actually healing myself for probably 50 HP at least. And 50 HP is kind of a lot in the early game. And again, the crit chance is about 1 every 8 hits. So getting 1 point of Chaos Strike as early is probably should be looked at as a lifesteal thing. It should be about like a lane sustain. I get it because if I'm hitting creeps, I know that every 8 hits I'm going to get 50 HP or something like that. That's how you should look at it. No pro player, or no player in pubs at least, with high MMR was getting more than 1 Chaos Strike level early. It's just not worth it. There's no way it's worth it. The chances are too low. It's not reliable. The crit chance doesn't really go up very much. So that's how you should think about it. This game, though, I didn't do that. I pretty much focused entirely on Chaos Bolt and Reality Rift. And the reason that I did that is because I expected to be battling a lot in my lane. And if I have a lot of people in my lane, and if my HP is full, then I didn't really feel the need to go Chaos Strike. Because I was looking at the numbers and trying to like decide whether it was really worth it. And after playing this game, it's probably worth it, especially seeing as how many other players get it. That they justified for the heal, but who knows? Maybe it's not worth it. Because again, the bonus that you get from Chaos Bolt is not a lot, but it's something. It's still 25 damage. 25 damage is pretty shit, but it is 0.5 seconds of stun. And there are times on other heroes where I'll justify 0.5 seconds of stun, because that can be a lot. Unfortunately, here I got a little unlucky with my high damage. I don't know why I dropped my Quelling Blade. I didn't need to, but I think I missed quite a few last hits that I really didn't need to miss this game. That was definitely a big issue with me in the laning here, was that I focused way too much on... I missed a lot of last hits, especially when I chased the Batrider, and also in some of these other areas. I should have just bought a Quelling Blade really early, but buying the Magic Stick makes it hard, because then if you buy the Magic Stick, then that's your first 200 gold, and you kind of think about getting boots, stuff like that. So I'm going to rotate over here. Probably not going to be able to get that kill, of course. I probably shouldn't have even gone on the Batrider. It probably should have been Night Stalker that I go on instead. This is something else I did this game to try it out. I decided to go for a Soul Ring since we were lane contested a lot. if there's a lot of heroes in my lane and I am going to be casting a lot of spells, Magic Stick alone is probably not going to cut it. So I decided to get a Soul Ring.
You may not have it.
To try to ensure that I always had mana. I was hoping he would come forward there, but he didn't, so. Soul Ring is 150 mana each use. I'm going to lose 150 HP by doing that. In some ways, I kind of wish that I had Reality Rift as a result. Or, I'm sorry, Chaos Strike, because if I'm using Soul Ring, my HP will be lowered, and then maybe if I get a Chaos Strike, I'll heal up. So that probably would have been a good idea. And if you're wondering why I used Reality Rift on the creep there, it's because I still had mana from Soul Ring that I hadn't used, so I used it to lower the creep's armor by 5 so that he would die faster.
Don't burn your fingers.
So what I did here, I think I pulled these together. I felt very confident about my lane, especially with the Soul Ring. So I didn't feel like he was likely to contest me, so what I wanted to do was move over here and pull them together. That way I could get as much of these last hits as possible. And, you know, miss as many denies as possible. This is one of the downsides about basically being solo in my lane, is that I kind of have to do both jobs, whether it's pulling back the creep wave or else. And the other issue is that the next creep wave is already here, so now I'm kind of losing my opportunity to get full farm, and you can kind of see by my movements there that I got slightly panicked. I thought they would attack a little bit earlier, but unfortunately they did not. Okay. I don't think I missed any last hits except for that one. So I didn't lose too much experience there. I don't think I really gained that much either, though, because it's not like I killed like one small neutral creep and that was it. Wasn't super beneficial. Because my allies did leave, though, I hit a really fast level 6, which is nice. And I'm tied for the highest level. I guess the Troll Warlord is getting similar outputs, and except he's last hitting much better than I am. So definitely the biggest thing you can complain about for my play so far. I really should have just gotten the Quelling Blade maybe a little bit earlier. I also haven't gotten my ulti at 6. This is pretty normal. You don't really want to get it at 6 because, again, the damage it takes is amplified. And right now I don't even have that many strength items. My strength is basically just entirely based on my base strength, how much I'm getting per level. So until I get power treads or something, it's just not even worth it. If I have power treads, I think it's pretty okay to have your ult, because then you've got 10 extra strength and you've got power treads attack speed. But before power treads, I just don't see it as valuable. So I just focused on maxing out Reality Rift as well as my stun. Now I definitely want to go on this bat as soon as I can. It's a little bit of minus armor here. I probably should have used the Soul Ring maybe. And in fact, looking at it now, it was actually really good that I did. I used my wand here to ensure that I survived and everything's good. And now I'm just going to wait and buy my Helm of Iron Will so that I can regen up. This is a really easy way to transition into Armlet, is like once you feel like your lane is going a little rough, get a Helm of Iron Will. So now I've got 3 HP regen from Helm, and I've got 3 from Soul Ring, so I've got 6 HP per second right now. And this will allow me to build a really fast Armlet. Again, Treads is still super, super good on Chaos Knight. In a lot of games, you can just get by with having Power Treads alone in the safe lane. Just by Tread switching, you should be able to make your mana go a lot farther. Like Power Treads, an occasional Clarity maybe, and maybe an ally's Arcane Boots or something like that. Magic Wand and Treads, that really covers you in most cases. Another thing I probably should be doing is, first of all, looking around the map more often, and definitely rotating for kills. Chaos Knight's actually really good in the early game at rotating for kills, because I'm really fast. I basically just need to TP in, and I've got a Reality Rift, and I've got a Chaos Bolt, which is a disable. Disables are good, and pulling somebody out of position from range is in some ways kind of like a Blink Dagger. So I'm queued up Magic Wand here. I think this is maybe a mistake to go Wand before going for Armlet, but it could also be okay. Doing a side pull again because I want to deny the amount of gold that the Bat Rider gets, and if he goes for the camp. Normally I don't want to pull like this against a Bat because it allows him to use Firefly to like get farm. But in this game I felt like it was okay to do so because I feel strong at contesting, so I feel like I'm going to be able to prevent him from fully getting all the farm and experience. And unfortunately for me, the creeps were at the tower, so I had to shift over there. Looks like he got all the small ones, but... Ooh, and then I stunned a creep. That was real not good. I got that Satyr at least. And luckily he pushed me forward, but I don't think he was going to be able to kill me anyways, because it's more likely that he was almost out of Firefly anyways. Got 4 seconds. As you can see, I just really don't have that much damage. I probably should have Reality Rifted earlier there. He had a raindrop here, which blocked approximately 120 damage. That was actually incredibly close. I had 8 HP there. I probably should have died. And the one thing that I really felt in this circumstance was I was really... First of all, I probably would have gotten at least 1 Chaos Strike in the entirety of this.
Radiant's
Most
middle
likely,
tower is under
if I
attack.
had Chaos Strike. So I probably would have gotten at least like 50
Radiant
HP from that.
structures are
Number 2,
fortified.
if I had Power Treads, I would be attacking way faster, so I would have been able to kill him a lot easier. And it's not like I didn't do bad damage or something like that. It's just his raindrop blocked 2 of my nukes. So pretty much all of my resources right now are in regen and mana regen. So if he gets a raindrop and it blocks 120 of my magic damage twice, then that means that he's basically saving about 180 HP. So all of my items basically went towards me casting spells. He prevented my spells from being fully effective. And I have no attack speed, which means that my actual right-click damage is kind of weak. And that's basically why that went kind of crappy. Why it was difficult for me to kill him. I did end up killing him, but it wasn't easy. So, kind of hoping for lifesteal one of these days. I didn't think it would attack the range creep there. Last hit wise, I'm doing okay. So I did. It says I did 150. It was probably more like, I don't know, 130 or something. But I got some lifesteal out of that. You're probably wondering why I didn't get Phantasmia. That's because I wanted to get lifesteal. So here I tried to think: do I want Talent Tree level 10 or do I want my ultimate? I chose my ultimate. I will be able to get my Talent Tree before I'm all done. Due to the ward, I see them rotating in, so I actually don't want to stay here too long. But I've got my armlet coming finally, which is good, which means I can probably fight. Let's clear that. Tinker is here. Here's my armlet. I want to turn my armlet on before I use Phantasm. I really wanted to run in here, but it's like I'm definitely very strong at this point. Once you get armlet, you've got like 60 damage basically. I could also use Phantasm outside of the trees if I wanted to. I forgot to turn my armlet on. There was a small pause here. So I should have turned my armlet on before I used Phantasm, and because I didn't, my illusion has 25 less damage and it has 500 less HP, which is a huge amount. That's a really big mistake. Remember, there was a big pause here. Luckily, I do end up getting the kill. My illusion stays alive, which is kind of nice because it's going to be able to do damage for me as long as I don't feed it. And honestly, like, don't think that these are unusable. It's actually very important that you keep them alive if possible, because they actually do a lot of damage. I could just use them to, if I tank and let my illusion do damage, for example, I can kill things really rapidly. Because I'm just doubling damage. It does slightly less, but again, that's... Oh, this is Quelling Blade. I do more damage because I have Quelling, and it doesn't work on illusions, so... Oh, got a Bat Rider. Looks like his, like, see how much damage I do right now? It's actually ridiculous. Once you amplify your damage, because again, I'm hitting for like 98 base, and going from no items to an armlet is like increasing my damage by 60%. And that's also reduced by 7 armor. So any damage I get is like super amped up, pretty much. Got Power Treads now, so now I'm attacking really fast. Now I'm basically a huge threat at this point. This is like the strongest point that Chaos Knight is in all the games. Now again, I probably should be rotating. If I had I should just grab a TP and go mid, because my team is pressuring. But for some reason I never did. I basically just sat in the safe lane. But it's not really how you should play CK. Like, I should be in these fights most likely. But I didn't go in them. But I really should have. And I found a Tinker who showed up. That was pretty easy. Sorry I was fast forwarded there. Forgot about that happening. But Armlet, Stun, Reality Rift, very easy kill. Like, Tinker is not difficult to kill right now. He has 1,000 HP. He's got like a normal amount of armor, like 5 or 6 or something like that. He's got 5 armor, so I put him in the negatives, and I do bonus damage, and he was stunned. So super easy. This is definitely the point where I should be moving around. I could, but one of the downsides is I haven't actually taken the tower yet. So this is one of my plans here. I should have Soul Ring before I ultied. I don't think I did. Yeah, I forgot to Soul Ring. I got lucky on the illusion spawn. As you can see, I'm doing a shitload of damage. I turned off my armlet because I don't want to lose too much HP. They're going to use Glyph here, but basically I could see them all across the map, so I felt pretty comfortable using my ultimate here to go for this. And now I'm going to use one of my illusions to scout. This is a very common place to TP, so I'm just checking to see if anybody's nearby. I'm going to use this. This is really scary. Turn on my armlet to get some HP. At this point I should just turn and fight. Moonhead should have hit this guy. He would have killed him. I think. Could have been close.
Radiant's middle tower is
Um,
under attack.
I don't think I reacted super well. My camera position could have been better, because I should have seen them all coming probably, and I only saw the one guy coming. I don't think I microed super well. What else did I do wrong? I should have just maybe turned earlier to kill the Night Stalker.
Dire's
But as a
top
whole, I
tower
don't think
is
that was a
under
terrible
attack.
fight for me. If we look at net worth, I'm like way ahead. Just because I've gotten so many, I've been fighting so much. So I've got 2,000 gold now. So now the next question is, what do I buy next? And this game, one of the big issues is they have a bunch of heroes that I think are very good against Chaos Knight. Number one, I would say Nyx Assassin's pretty good because he can chain disable me. If I don't have my ultimate up, it's very hard for me to kill him, kind of, without getting stunned myself. Tinker is very difficult, because once Tinker builds Ags, then his laser will jump, and that means that it's going to hit my illusions as well, making it impossible for them to hit. So if I don't initiate on the Tinker, then that means that my illusions are not going to do damage. So I need some kind of a solution to that. Either I need to initiate on Tinker before he blinds me, or I need to make sure that my illusions can hit. So I was pretty much thinking about Monkey King Bar this whole game. But I chose to buy a Blink Dagger here. Another reason, Batrider's hard to catch because he's got a Blink Dagger. He will always react to me initiating. So if I get a Blink Dagger, I can initiate on my terms and not necessarily get caught. So just kind of hoping to find a Tinker ideally. We definitely need to be ganking. So spending some time in their jungle, for example. Very easy kill. This is basically how strong I am right now. It's very easy for me to kill people. I've got Soul Ring, I've got Blink Dagger, I should just be going for kills pretty much. I was hoping the Night Stalker would run to the south instead. But use my ultimate here. Pretty easy kill. Fortunately, I took a lot of damage myself, so I'm going to back up here. And even though I took a lot of damage there. Even though I got pretty low, I think that was super worth it because we killed Tinker again. Tinker's net worth is not very high at the moment. Unfortunately, the problem is that Troll is up top taking our tower because of this. And that was pretty much for free. And he doesn't really have even close to the same items as me. He just has Mask of Madness and almost Yasha. Use my Ancients here to jungle, as you can see. Or, sorry, my Illusions here to jungle Ancients, is what I meant to say. Alright, the dive is going well. The problem is we're not very good at hitting towers, is maybe the big issue at the moment.
Radiant's middle tower
Armlet's on
is
late.
under attack.
This is getting dangerous. Should stun that guy. I don't know why I didn't. That was a really bad blink.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
But it's okay.
Dire's top tower
Kind of
has
just...
fallen.
And again, the problem is Troll just took 2 towers for nothing. He took a tier 1 and he took a tier 2. And nobody reacted to that or
Radiant's
stopped it.
middle tower
He
is
just
under
took all that
attack.
stuff for free. We're killing heroes, but the amount of map control that Troll just gained is ridiculous. Especially because now our tier 3s are uncovered. And that means that... I don't even know if we glyphed that tower, to be honest. We didn't. We had a glyph ready, nobody used it, nobody was watching. So I'm not sure what's going on, but... I felt very solo this game, which is why I was very frustrated. Felt like I was getting a lot of things done. I've got 10 kills here. The only thing I wasn't doing was... I didn't participate with the map much the first 15 minutes, and that's where I messed up, I think. Other than that, I definitely felt like I was doing a lot. I got attack speed at 15, or at 10, sorry, and then I got the 10 strength at 15. Pretty standard. So now the issue is that somebody has to go top to split push this out, because if they don't, then that means that our opponents can threaten our tower dying. And Tinker is just going to sit in the trees, basically, and do double march here. And the problem now is that it's very difficult for our team to actually get kills. Because if they just push lanes out, like with Tinker doing this in trees, for example, then it's very tough for us to actually stop or catch heroes. So we basically need somebody that's top to stop the pushes, and we also need somebody to try to kill Tinker when he does TP in. But the problem is that everybody on my team kind of was just walking around all the time. They're kind of looking for kills, but they weren't doing it in smart ways. And this is a really important thing when you're looking for kills, is that you have to anticipate where your opponents are going to be. So for example, Clockwork could be sitting down here by me and think like, or he could go top and be like, hey, where's Tinker going to go? The answer is Tinker's always going to go where the creep wave is. Like, I can predict after Tinker pushes this, he's going to heal, then he's going to come back bottom and he's going to double march this. But instead what's happening is everybody's just kind of walking around. They just kind of walk around the whole time. So I'm down here trying to push, and hey, here comes Tinker.
Radiant's
I'm going to use my
bottom
ultimate
tower is under
because I want to
attack.
try to kill this. And this is probably the
Radiant's
easiest way.
structures are fortified.
But the problem is that these take quite a bit of damage from the March AoE. And then I kind of just have to walk away. I could probably run these back, and in fact, I think I should have if I don't. I should have ran those back in and hit the tower again, because the tower was because Tinker was probably gonna run out of mana. That was a silly mistake by me. Because if I would have just kept them there, I would have hit the tower. The tier 1's done on backdoor, and I probably could have killed it eventually, and that would have made the whole thing easier. But my team's fighting over here, so I decided to rotate over. Pretty straightforward kill. Fortunately, I'm very out of position by myself now. I didn't turn on one. I don't know why I didn't. Big mistake. I definitely could have lived there. This is like the first fight we've had in a while. We do get a couple kills. I really shouldn't have died there though. That was a pretty big mistake. Ooh, that was very close. So kind of a bad fight. I think my initiation was slow, number one. I should have instantly like blink reality rifted stunned. But I did it all slowly. I think I had hotkey problems in that moment. I got like confused about which hotkeys did which and stuff. Now they're just going to push our mid tower while I'm dead because they push really fast. I think Chachi had pretty crappy items this game too. When BOT is mesmerized. Oh, this is actually a really good TP by Wolfman here. I was able to jump in too. So Troll Warlord is actually kind of hard for me to deal with because when he uses his AoE X, Whirling X's, the ones that blind, then it also provides mischance to my illusions. So there's like two things that are going to cause me a lot of issues. Night Stalker as well is actually a pretty big deal, I would say, in terms of like causing problems. Okay, nice stun. That was actually so much damage. Reality Rift, dead hero, pretty straightforward. Again, the issue is that our lanes aren't pushed out, and because our lanes aren't pushed out, we can't really take something afterwards. We should pressure the mid tower with this. If we look at the farm graphs here, we're actually only barely winning, which I think is a little bit crazy. If I didn't have Blink here, I wouldn't have gotten that kill. There's no way. Blink actually really paid off this game, I thought. I think it was very useful. Got 15 kills at this point. We just need to kill towers, basically.
Radiant's middle tower has fallen.
Oh, this is
Radiant's
unfortunate.
bottom tower
Blinked
is
into
under
trees,
attack.
then I realized, luckily I've got a Flying Blade. Alright, so got my Reaver. Heart is next, I'm very close to it. Once I have that, I can basically leave my armlet on all the time. Wow, that's actually terrible. He was roaching that whole time. I didn't even think to check. I remember when he killed it. It was kind of, I felt like, wow, we shouldn't have let him actually take that. But he just sat here and he rushed. He's gonna get 11 net worth out of this. Basically got 500 gold from that, which is really huge. And then because he took that, then we don't get it. But I definitely felt a lacking in map control. I mean, we only have one ward on the ground, for example. My team is like farming camps on our side of the map. When it should be we should be over here putting wards down, knowing where they are, getting ganks off, and making stuff happen, basically. If you're not doing that, you should be pushing lanes, but instead we're just AFK jungling the whole time. Not the whole time, obviously, but there's a lot of periods of time where we were just jungling. It really hurts you. Because if I have to be the one that's always pushing, for example, then I can't also be the one that's ganking as well. They started kind of looking for heroes, but it looks like a couple of them got caught. Now I'm rotating mid because it kind of looked like something was happening. I probably should have just kept pushing and looked to TP when it was time to fight. I'm slowing a little bit early here. Very straightforward kill, get another solo kill. I'd use my ultimate for that one. I could have ultied ahead of time up here maybe, and then approach. That might have been a better solution. Also gonna cut creeps here. I do like a ridiculous amount of damage right now. And you can leave armlet on since the heart heals through this. Unfortunately, I'm not able to get to the fight very well, which kind of sucks. I also didn't run to my team, but it kind of looked like I didn't need to.
Radiant structures are fortified.
Maybe I should have stayed top though, because Medusa TP'd there.
Is under attack.
I feel like she's gonna get killed. Because he probably shouldn't be here. He kind of overstayed. Yeah, they were kind of gonna TP this. He needed ulti as soon as he saw the bat. Okay.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
He's very dead. Yeah. He shouldn't have been pushing there. That was a huge mistake by him. Completely unnecessary. It was good he pushed, but he did it, and he did it too long and in an unsafe way. Fortunately, I used my blink dagger, so I can't really go on him just yet. Another thing we should have done is probably gone like a gem when we have map control. I feel like we had map control. Like that's see, Wolfman jungled way too much this game. I tried going on the troll. This is really bad though. Super messed up. I kind of went on the troll, but I shouldn't have. I think they had vision of us, vision of me at least. We lost. We didn't lose both, I don't think, just one. But still, I'm dead for a long time because I have a huge level advantage. I believe, yeah, I'm the highest level in the game, so I'm actually dead for super long. It's very hard to get them to stop running at us, basically.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Missed the last hit. He got the tower though, which is good. So items, if you're curious. Just a pipe on the Venom is level 12. Bounty went Dagon. Really shit build, don't do it. It's just really not worth it. I don't even know why he's running anyway. This is very dangerous. Chachi used ulti. Now Chachi's gonna die. He ran out. He chased way too far there. It's way too far. Alright, I'm up now. So I'm gonna TP to try to chase. Fortunately, the TP is forever.
Generation.
Luckily, I do a buttload of damage. Spent way too long trying to pick up a gem when I should have just been chasing for more kills, I think. There's no Roche. Yeah, I just should have chased. Hey, blind, eh? I shouldn't really feed those. Blinked on the cliff to try to see if there was a ward there. It's kind of dangerous, but tried to farm with those, but nothing was there. Alright, bought my Demon Edge because I wanted to get a Monkey King bar to start dealing with the evasion things. But I think this is ultimately the wrong choice. I think I needed a BKB at this point. Giving my illusions True Strike is really good, but my problems at this point started becoming I initiate kill somebody, but I can't get out afterwards. My allies couldn't back me up. I mean, in a lot of ways, actually, it should have been just like Chachi uses ultimate and we get a kill or something. But that didn't always quite work out like that, unfortunately. The reason being because if they're just not there, or if I make a mistake, or if I'm in a position, then Night Stalker is going to slow and silence me, and then it takes me a long time to get out, for example. This was probably not a good choice. It was actually okay. This guy dies really easy. I still do like a shitload of damage. Luckily I was able to get down. Probably should have done that better. It's too bad. Didn't get the kill. I could also maybe swap my Slow Ring out for the Demon Edge, but I don't think it's that huge of a deal. I can probably just keep it going. Net worth wise, except then there was like 3 heroes. And by the time I should really be going slow speed on this. So let's look at this again and see what I did wrong. I think the easy one is these buffs aren't active, it's just a replay bug, but
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Basically initiated, see a hero, kind of freaked out, he lasered me, and I didn't get my ulti off before I got silenced by Night Stalker. If I get my ulti off there, the whole fight kind of changes. He uses BKB now. He uses blind as well, so now my things are missing. And now he can kind of just right-click my main hero. Because Troll Warlord is actually really good at just right-clicking down single heroes. If he doesn't get overwhelmed. Like, he doesn't really need AoE too much as long as he can, like, prevent death from the illusions, which is what he did. But the problem is that nobody else is there. And then I got really frustrated because I felt like nobody on my team was here. Like if we count the amount of time we fought here. I mean, we were pretty far, I guess, and they were on the other side of the map. They really set the trap for me, though. They really wanted that. Maybe should have gone for the Night Stalker as well, but I thought I could maybe kill the troll. Like, there's basically no way that they get there in time, which is reasonable. Like, we actually weren't fighting that long. Like, we basically got a kill. I felt like pushing forward, and they baited. So it wasn't fair for me to be frustrated with allies in this moment. But I did feel very much like I was solo at this point. Because like, the game is basically hard to shit. and I have like
This sustains
20. I literally have 20 kills. I've been in 23 of my team's 30 kills, and nothing else is happening. And we're like, that's what it felt like. It was very frustrating. If I had BKB'd there, though, I could have pretty much BKB'd instantly. I maybe still would have gotten bashed by the troll, but I probably would have gotten my ulti off a lot earlier. My units would have had more HP, and I could have continued casting Chaos Bolts and Reality Rifts on the heroes I wanted to. So I probably could have like killed Night Stalker or Bat Rider right at the start, and then maybe bought myself time to deal Troll Warlord, which would have been hard, because with Sanjin Yasha, he is slowing me and he's bashing me, which is all very difficult to deal with. BKB is definitely the move here. I really wanted to get MKB, though. I thought it'd be fun, which is basically why I lose most times. Alright, there's my MKB, bought some wards, or some TP scrolls. Probably not expecting to go Basher this game, just because the game's already pretty hard. But I finally do have the solutions to deal with their heroes. Now I just needed BKB. I really thought that MKB would solve my problems. It did not. Really did not. I needed Manta or BKB to remove a silence. That was really what it was, honestly. I needed to be able to remove the Night Stalker silence. Night Stalker slow, Night Stalker silence. So once I'm in a bad spot, I'm pretty much just a sitting duck. Once again, I killed a Nyx instantly, which felt nice. Moving around looking for kills.
Radiant are scanning.
I should have had this on TPs this whole time. This was a really big mistake by me. My ulti. Instantly kill Bat. That's the first silence. He won't be able to blind me or anything, so this should be pretty easy. So much easier when I hit reliably. Another good fight. Got a lot of gold advantage out of that one. Got some tracks, stuff like that. I think after the part I got frustrated, I think they started playing a lot better. Looks like Chachi's being pressured top. There's a Hex on Tinker now, which basically means she can chain Hex. This is the next issue, is that I didn't have a BKB, so I couldn't actually deal with that. But I'm still pretty farmed. I've got 2k gold. I've got the cooldown reduction perk now, so I can stun every 8 seconds. Ulti every 100, which is pretty reasonable, I think, for ultimate cooldown. It's not bad. This is a pretty aggressive place for me to be. I know I was looking for a bounty rune or something, but there's almost always wards in these kind of areas, so this is kind of silly for me to be here. But put my TP over here so that it would come off cooldown faster. I'm just kind of hitting neutral camps, basically. Another cool thing is you can actually lifesteal from the Monkey King bar when you get Chaos Strike. Kind of wanted to get a pick off here, but it didn't work out. This is where I think I said like this. I don't remember if I said this is where they are or this is where we're ganking, but this is really over aggressive. Basically, if I go on the troll, we need to kill him like instantly. I can't do like this stun then a reality rift, because by the time I'm ulting here, his stun is like halfway through almost, which means my ability to even kill this guy is just reduced. And because he gets force staffed, the whole fight's over. Like, I just wasted my ultimate. I got way too excited. And they even have a ward on the high ground, so they even saw that coming. Like, we still haven't done a good enough job of de-warding. He actually gets it right here, so it's going to be okay, but... No, he didn't. Does anybody have a gem? We have a gem, just on clockwork. So, basically, checks the cliff with a ward, but we don't get it. But once you, like, honestly, the game gets so easy when you kill all the enemy wards, because they just don't feel safe doing anything anymore. And when that happens, it's just so straightforward. You just get the kills when they're separate, and that's it. Just dead heroes. I don't know what these drawings are. They're all kind of pushing up. This was really unfortunate. I basically died for... Oh, I did die. That's right, Wolfman got a glory cogs, man. Unfortunately, the problem is I just kept getting slowed, and they have Scotty at this point. If I had Blink here, or BKB, sorry, I could have probably gotten out of this, but I basically died for nothing. It's like the shittiest way to die ever. That one was entirely my fault. also probably should have bought back earlier before Chachi died. I should have bought back instantly. I figure I have to kill this guy, because if I don't, I definitely lose. Okay, I got him. I felt good about that. I was like, cool, I killed Tinker. I did my job. Exactly what I needed. And then I just kind of died because he bought back then. So then I bought back to kill Tinker, and then he bought back and he's alive. So it was actually just a bad idea to try that. So at this point, the game is over. We lost. I was pretty frustrated though, so I felt like I played pretty well. I got a lot done. We just, I think my team just didn't really deal with the split pushing. There was the big mistakes top when the Troll Warlord took 2 towers for free, which made the game hard because then that lane's always pushed out. We don't have like a tower. Chachi's items all sucked ass basically, because he just had what? He had basically Ags, which doesn't do that much, with Mask of Madness, with Hurricane Pike. This is like, that's basically like 2 defensive items. This is heavily defensive. This is stat-wise defensive. The offense is decent, but I don't think it's great this game at all. It's not even that useful. And Mask of Madness is okay, but he needed a damage item to compensate. Like, he doesn't do any damage is the problem. He needed, like, Mask of Madness with a Monkey King bar or something and a Lincoln's. Would have been better. Ags, on the bright side, Ags would have been allowed him to stun the Tinker, basically. That would have been the one good thing if we needed, but the game's basically over at this point. I couldn't deal with the Hex. I was being chain disabled. Really, like, I could also blame this that I just wasn't near my team and I got initiated on. That's simple. Whereas if I didn't get initiated on, then I would have been fine. Because my team could have backed me up. If, like, Veno's there and Veno bombs them, for example, then it's all good as well. But I didn't have that. I was by myself. I shouldn't have gotten caught. But I think it played pretty well. I think the blink was useful. I got a lot of kills. I should have last hit a lot better. I missed a lot of last hits in the laning stage. My GPM was pretty good. It was second highest in the game, only behind Troll. Other than that, I think my team farmed really slow, except for Chachi, but even he didn't do that well. 0-3 and 11. His items sucked. His hero damage was atrocious. He did less than Bounty Hunter did. This is Chachi kind of just AFK doing whatever he felt like. But then his items did actually nothing. That was the problem. I think Venomancer had really poor farm. Like, what they needed to do this game was Wolfman needed to shoot rockets on lanes that are being pushed against us. Or basically to shoot rockets to lanes where we aren't. That way it kills creeps faster, and then that lane will push without him being there. He got a Midas, he got decent items, but he was jungling a lot. This is like mostly neutrals. And he also did a lot of damage to team fights, and that part was pretty good. And yeah, he did a lot of damage. I think CCNC said it's largely to rocket. I think Wolf played pretty okay. But he spent way too much time in jungles. He needed to basically be at lanes when I'm by a tower. He needed to be there, hiding in the trees, wait for Tinker to TP in, and as soon as he sees a march, he should shoot a rocket where he expects the Tinker to be, and if he finds the Tinker, he hook shots the Tinker and we kill the Tinker. And if we do that, like, twice, like, if you do that once, the tower dies. But it never happened. He was jungling or something like that. So that was, like, the small mistakes that he made. These guys just didn't farm fast enough. I think Moonhood wasn't on the map enough. He also spent his first bit of gold on a Dagon. Just not even close to worth it. Troll Warlord is very tanky. Night Stalker is very tanky. Bat Rider is moderately tanky, and Nyx Assassin is hard to kill. Dagon just doesn't work this game. What he should have gone first is maybe a Blink Dagger. That way he could help scout trees as well. He should have put, like, wards on cliffs, for example. Wards, like, deep. That way we see where the enemies are so we can get kills. Like, Mech Vlad's would have been good, I think, against these guys. If he gets a fast Lotus Orb, that would have been amazing. He could put Lotus Orb on me when I go into fight. Because if he does that, then he'll reflect spells and remove silence from me. That would have been fantastic. You can use it to remove Troll Blind. That would have been great. But Dagon, what does it do? 400 magic damage. That's it. It's just not worth it. For 2720, he spends 1300 more and he's got a Lotus Orb. Would have been so much better than what he had. He could use it to reflect Bat Rider Lasso. Like, there's so many good uses of Lotus Orb this game. So Moonhead just wasn't aggressive enough. I think he was like, he wasn't scouting, he wasn't putting wards down aggressive, things like that. And then Chachi bad items. And then I think Jerry's problem here, I mean, he had some gank issues, I think. There were some heroes that maybe pressured him. But I think a Pipe Rush was a little bit too forward thinking, because he was basically thinking about, like, missile spam, things like that, magic damage. But he was looking too far ahead. What he needed to do instead was maybe focus more on being greedy, actually. Like, if anybody was going to be AFK jungling, it should have been Venomancer. And honestly, I don't even know where he was. I think he kind of just roamed all early game, because they were in the lane at the start, right? But then I was basically just solo for like 10 minutes, which basically means that they probably didn't do that much. I know they fought like mid and things like that, but his low GPM doesn't like account for everything. So he probably should have farmed a lot better in some way. Like, go to lane, push it out really rapidly, or defend pushes or something, because he clearly didn't push waves, and as a result, it just didn't do much. So I guess we'll end it there while I go play this pub game. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed the replay commentary, and play some CK in the right circumstances. Bye.
10 seconds.